Hey there, this is Peyton here with Profit Daylight, and on this video, I want to quickly talk about theme styles and how you can set global settings for your entire site. Now, if you recall on a previous video, you can probably check it somewhere here. I was talking about the options underneath the hamburger menu, and one of those options is theme styles. But we did not cover exactly what theme style was, so I just wanted to cover what is theme styles on this video. Just before I continue, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you feel the content of these videos is informative, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and I'll greatly appreciate that. So with that said, let's just go into what theme style is all about. So by looking here on Elementor's page, theme style settings are global settings that allow you to set default style and options for various elements such as backgrounds, headings, buttons, images, and form fields. So basically, if you want your website to look the same way, like all your buttons the same way, all your images the same way, all your headings the same way, the text the same way, then you probably want to use theme style. Now, on a previous video, I had talked about the basic settings inside Elementor, and here is where you come to configure some of those basic settings, and we had left two options unchecked: disable default colors and disable default fonts. We did not check those options, and the reason we did not check those options is because if we check these two boxes here, we are letting the theme take control of the entire website, and we did not want the theme to take control of the entire website. So in other words, whichever fonts we have on the theme, or whichever colors we have on the theme, those were going to rule over the entire site. They were going to override Elementor's settings. So that is the reason why you don't want to check those options if that's what you want. But as I said, if you want to easily configure your website where you can have the same type of buttons, the same colors, the same fonts, the same borders around the images and other settings, then you will want to use theme style. So in order to do that, I'm just going ahead and create a new post here, and I'm going to show you what is the message that you will get if this option is not enabled. So as I come into the hamburger menu, underneath the hamburger menu, if I go to site settings and I look under theme style, I go to typography, and if I go to any one of them, if I go to typography, button, images, and form fields, let's just go to images, for example. It's going to give me this message here. Basically, this message is telling me, please disable these options so that theme styles can work. So in other words, I'm not going to be able to do anything here while this message is active and while I have not disabled the default colors and default fonts. So let's just go ahead and disable the default colors and default fonts. And yes, by doing so, in theory, I'm going to be using the settings from the theme and not from Elementor. However, with theme styles, we can then override that. So let me just save the settings here, and I'm going to come back into Elementor. I'm just going to go back here and refresh my page because I have saved the settings. And now I come under the hamburger menu, site settings, typography, and I no longer get the message there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go ahead and add some elements so that you can quickly see what theme styles can do for you. So I'm just adding some 3 or 4 elements. Let me just add just go with an image. And finally, let me just find a little button here and add a button. So again, the theory says that theme style settings are global settings that allow you to set default style and options for various elements such as backgrounds, headings, buttons, images, and form fields. Now, let me just go ahead and come back into my hamburger menu, come to site settings, and let's start with images. So I'm going to go on the images and I'm going to select a border type. Now just keep in mind that all the images that you put on your Elementor site are going to have these settings. So I am going to go to double. So I have placed a double border around it, and color. Let me just put green. Just one example. I can also put width. And obviously I can insert an image there. So I'm just going back and I'm going to the buttons. So all the buttons so far will be this color, blue, but I can come over here and go to background color and just change that here. Let me just put black and text color, light blue. And by the way, I can just touch the color and I can undo or clear the settings. So I can clear the settings, or I can select a color here from the color palette, but I'm actually using my default color. So again, I just come here and just select whichever color I want. And by the way, whenever you see settings with the global feature in blue, it means that it's on. For example, here typography, this option is off, or it's grayed out, it's off. And actually, I can also come here and change the typography, but I just wanted to show you the difference between the global settings when it's on and off. All right, so I have now chosen that all the buttons on my website are going to be black background, and all the images are going to have this border, like a double green border. I can do the same if I go back and I come to typography. I can choose the typography for my body. I can choose the typography for H1, H2, H3s, and so on. So let me just go back here and ensure that let's say, for example, this heading is an H2. I'm going to ensure it's an H2. So I'm just go ahead and save it here, save draft, and I'm going to exit out from here. Save settings. Yep, I want to save that. All right, so I'm coming back over to my heading, and is H2. Let's just put it for H3. So what I want to say here, all my H3s are going to have the color or the text I am going to select. I'm coming back to my Hamburger menu under site settings and under typography and under H3. So all my H3s, this option is disabled or is off, is grayed out. There's no setting for it. I'm going to set a setting for my H3s. The color is going to be, let's say, blue, and it changes it immediately. And the typography, let me see what I have there. I have primary headline. All of these are my default fonts. So let me just change it to this one here to see. So all of my H3s are going to have this typography and this color. And remember, under typography, it's talking about the fonts that I selected earlier under my global fonts. And finally, I am going to go back here and I'm going to come back into typography and body, text color, typography. Let me just change the text color to this color here. So I don't like that one. You see, turned on immediately. I can send back the video 2-3 seconds and you will see it turn on immediately. Let me just put another one. I'm going to put this color here. That is going to be the color for my text. Just put something different so that you can clearly see it. I'm going to put this green. So that is going to be the color of my text going forward. And again, I'm just going to exit out from here. It's going to ask me if I want to save. I'm going to say yes, I want to save. So if I come back to my editor and I enter some text, it is automatically going to take the color that I just chose. And obviously I can change it if I want, but it's to expedite the way when you edit your website, you can just go ahead and choose the styles that you select under theme styles, and it will take that immediately. So let me see, let me just try to enter a H3 heading and see what happens here. H3, it takes it immediately. If I change it to H2, it puts what was there, which is nothing. I did not configure any H2. If I put H1, I did not configure any H1. So all the H3s are going to be just like that. If I want to configure my H1s, then I'll obviously have to go back into site settings and come here by under typography and H1s. And I want to say all my H1s, which is off right now. All my H1s are going to be with this color, and the typography is going to be, let's say, this one. And I'm going to exit out from here and save. And going forward, all of my H1s are going to be just like that. Again, let's prove that by just adding another element here. It defaults it to H2. I did not set anything for H2. I'm going to put it to H1, and immediately it changes. So that's really all there is to it. Theme style is very valuable. Let me just come back here to the theory. Just want to double check that and read it over for you again. Theme style settings are global settings that allow you to set default style and options for various elements such as backgrounds, headings, buttons, images, and form fields. Basically, what I did not do is to choose another image. So let me just go ahead and do it quickly here. I'm just adding another image, and there you go. So I have that border. I can obviously remove the border if I want, but that is going to be the way that all my images are going to look. And I just then add whichever image I want to add, insert, and that is the way that my website is going to look. So that's all there is to it on this video. I just wanted to show you exactly what theme style is all about. It's very easy to use. It's very handy, very useful. If you feel that you want to use it, just go ahead and make sure that you disable the default colors and default fonts on the Elementor's basic, or like when you go to the dashboard, going down to Elementor and go to settings and just disable the default colors and default fonts. If you feel the content of this video has been informative, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. I'll greatly appreciate it, and I'll continue rolling out other videos about Elementor. Until then, I wish you have a wonderful day, and thanks for your time. Thanks for watching my video today.